Everything in our body wants to flow outward. Everything in nature has an inclination towards expression. Like I said, in the springtime, the trees become tumescent and then burst forth their leaves, and then finally their blossoms, and then their fruit. And we're the same way. It wants to flow. So the energy medicine was not defined as energy medicine so much then, although Razi said in every substance, not just in the human body, but in every substance, in every fruit, everything has a body, a jism. It has a nafs, a personality, and it has a ruh, a spirit. In the modern homeopaths, the people who work with energy medicine, they say, Kent, one of the great American homeopaths, said you have to recognize that that's where the healing is. It's in the spirit of the material, the almond. My teacher, he was a master of what they call, in this tradition, they balanced the humors, but they also recognized that each substance in creation had an innate quality that was more than just its body. This is much more in the realm of jism. The peach has so much acids of certain kinds, so much sugars of certain kinds. It has some fiery fragrance of a particular type, wonderful kind of fragrance, right? The peach, the fresh peach. But the peach is one of the great remedies and medicines for the liver in this tradition. And this is the school of what they called simples. This school developed and reached its high point in Delhi. And then there was the other school of the muqarrabat, the combinations, 100 different ingredients put together. But in the really high, the hakims that were considered really high in their practice were the ones that understood this single simple food has by its nature something in it that's healing and curative, that's beyond the sugars in it. The date, for example. Or the peach. And my teacher, he recommended peaches for the liver. And I tell you, for anyone who's ever had problems with their liver, had gallstones, or ever had any kind of hepatitis, to eat fresh peaches in the springtime when they first come out, local, organic peaches, it's like breathing fresh air. So there was an understanding of energetic realities and unseen subtle realities. Peach. So Razi said everything has its personality and everything behaves in a certain way. A peach has a certain very dramatic personality, doesn't it? I mean, we use the term to say peachy. They're a peach of because it so typifies something really beautiful, fragrant, delicious, juicy, wonderful, kind of perfect in a certain sense. But peach is also at the center of the universe in terms of its peachness. That's what I like to describe it. In other words, contained in the peach is something that is unique. That's why they call them simples. It's a unique, the school of the Mufarid, the unique, single, simple thing. In the English language, they came to call them simples. My teacher was a master of the Mufaradat, the single, simple thing. And people used to come to him, and they'd come with very serious illnesses. I met a couple that had come from Germany that met him, and they came to see him. They'd been gone for 2 years, and they came with their daughter of like a year and a half or something, and they'd come to him because they couldn't have children. And they were coming back to visit him with the child to say, thank you so much, they told me the story. They said that they came all the way from Germany to see him in Pakistan, and he said, he talked to them and they told him what they wanted. He said, you just eat one date every day and you'll be fine. And they said, what? We've come all the way to hear that I eat a date every day? But they did it, and so the point is, we underestimate not only the miraculous quality of the event of existence, but we underestimate the quality of a single, simple thing. Like the peach, like the date, like the almond, like the watermelon. Oh, you know how many people, I have so many people who are so thankful to me to this day. There's a man in New Mexico who's he's a mason. He builds with stones, walls and things, and he drives a truck that's painted like a Pinto, spotted Pinto. And every time he sees me, he says, hey, Hakeem, he's so happy to see me. And he says, watermelon, I'm eating watermelon. He reminds me that he's eating, because he was about to have a kidney stone operation. And I said, and he was in great pain. And I said, well, eat watermelon. and he never had to go for the surgery. So that's just one example, and there's lots of it in the traditional books about foods they have more to them than what meets the eye, and they have more to them than what meets the eye of the reductionist scientific analysis in terms of elements, calcium, phosphorus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
You said that all the four are in the blood.
The four elements, yeah.
Is the blood weighted particularly towards one of them? And if so, are there other aspects of the body that are weighted towards the other elements?
Yeah. Again, the blood, the dominance of the red blood is considered, I can't tell you what quantities are there. It would show in the coloring, in the behaviors, the tongue. It would show it in analysis by observing the person, in the urine, the stool, all these sort of things. But again, different organs of the body are represented by different things. Some organs are more hot and dry, and some are more cold and wet. And the closer they are to what is ideal for that particular organ, the heart is hot and dry. The hair is cold and dry. The hair is cold and dry. The brain is cold and moist. The brain is cold and moist. So, again, balance comes and health comes in the broad sense when you're most in harmony with the nature. So when the liver is most in balance with the warm and moist that it's designed to be, it will be healthy. In terms of the body, they say the most sentient parts of the body, okay, the part that has greater sensation, are the parts that have the most equitable balance of all the elements. Just like they say the prophet, as a human being, had the most equitable balance and admixture of earth, air, fire, and water in his being. It also made him the most sentient of beings. In other words, he could feel when in the body, the most sensitive. Here, let's try an experiment here. Everybody put your hands out. And just become aware of the palms of your hands, okay? Now, put your hands so they face each other. A little further apart. About like this. Pardon me? Just feel. Now, there's another exercise we could do that would have to do with kind of what you might feel, the kind of energy between the two. Because if you put your hands out like this, notice how your palms feel. And if you put them facing each other, do you notice this change in sensation there? You're actually feeling your other hand. Now, this is a reality. Really, this is to do with energy medicine, yes? Those of you who are familiar with energy medicine. And as you move closer, you can actually begin to feel that energy that happens between those two hands. But here's what I want to do in relation to what I'm talking about here. Hold your palms upright and notice how they feel. And then slowly move them together until just the heels of your hands touch. And just feel, just notice what you feel there. Sensation we're talking about here. Back to what I was saying, the more sentient and more sensation you have, when there's the more equitable admixture of earth, air, and fire and water. Now, notice how the palms feel and how much you can kind of recognize how much you feel. Now I want you to very slowly observe, very, very carefully touch just your fingertips together and notice how much more you feel with your fingertips than with your heel of your hand. A lot more, yes? Yes or no? Very sensitive, the tips of the fingers. Because they say the palms of the hand have the most equitable admixture of earth, air, fire, and water. And of the palms of the hands, the tips of the fingers, and of the tips of the finger, the tip of the index or shahada finger. And they say that finger was like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in mankind. He was to mankind as the tip of the finger is to the body. And when we make our salah and we raise our right finger, that's something to reflect upon. So this, in some sense, represents what we should be or would aspire to be in the creation. It's not that we have anything over the animals, certainly we do not, or over the stones, or over the plants, but we have a particular gift of sensation, amongst other things. We've been given this gift of possibly and potentially being the Khalifas of Allah, the representatives of Allah, the representatives of Allah on the earth, and therefore with our sentience, with our ability to feel, to care for it.